All right, we want to take you back now to the Bill Cosby case, the retrial. The jury in Bill Cosby's sexual assault set to begin deliberating tomorrow after prosecutors and defense attorneys traded scathing closing arguments.
It was a full day of that. Bill Cosby's wife, Camille, joined her husband in Pennsylvania court for the first time during his retrial on sexual assault charges as closing arguments got ugly. The prosecutors calling the 80-year-old comedian a serial predator. A defense attorney countering that Cosby's accuser was a pathological liar looking for a big payday. The case against Cosby brought by former Temple University women's basketball administrator Andrea Constant, alleging the comedian gave her pills and assaulted her at his Philadelphia mansion. 5 other women testified on the stand that Cosby had done the same thing to them. This is the second trial in this case. The first trial ended in a hung jury.
Here now to talk about the ramifications of this case, legal analyst Debra Opri. Debra, thank you for being here. Based on what you're hearing now and everything you've heard, what is this jury going to do?
The punchline, it's going to be another hung jury, in my opinion. I know Tom Mesereau. Tom Mesereau is a fantastic attorney. And trying a criminal case like this, he did what he was supposed to do, attack the accuser. He went for credibility. He went for the jugular. He called her a pathological liar. They had a lot of witnesses against Bill Cosby. But in the end, we have to look at 3 things. 1, there was a big settlement. Does it help Bill? Does it hurt Bill? Does it help her? Does it hurt her? We have her who's hanging around with him a lot, and we have a series of events to show that he was a predator. I do not think, and I said it last time, I do not think that Huxtable, the dad, I don't think there's going to be one person who cannot get that out of their mind. So that's why I think the hung jury, as good as Tom is.
The jurors have had to have heard of past accusations. 60 women have come forward against Bill Cosby, but only 5 testified. They did not testify in the first trial. How big a difference does that make that you have 5 other women coming forward saying, same story?
Me Too movement, 5 women accusers to show that he had a series of acts and patterns. I think it might have been devastating. But the fact remains, are all 12 of those jurors going to say, we're going to convict an old man?
I have to think about that, too. Putting myself, maybe we put ourselves on that jury, the burden is beyond a reasonable doubt. You better know for sure before you send a man that the charge is basically he would die behind bars. It would be 30 years, right?
It's very difficult getting a conviction in a criminal case because you have to have every one of those jurors convicting. Do either of you think, because we've spoken about it, do either of you think there's going to be one person who's going to be a holdout and
they
say,
just need
I can't
one.
do
The
it?
defense just needs that one.
And if there is a hung jury, are they going to prosecute him again? Tom Mesereau is a fantastic attorney. He knew what to do in this case, and that is attack her up and down.
We know him from a lot of L.A. cases, the Michael Jackson case as well.
I was on that one. Yeah.
But we should also point out, this isn't a case by Andrea Constant. This is a case by the prosecutors.
That's right.
They brought this.
That's right.
So what point are they trying to make here?
They're trying to say, you don't do this. There has to be a line in the sand with what constitutes consent. The problem she has is that she went and saw him after the incident. The problem is Mesereau put in some strong evidence about the effects of the drug that was used, allegedly, and how she couldn't have had those results with how she testified.
What do you make of, or do you make anything of Bill Cosby's wife? Today was the first time that she actually appeared in the courtroom.
If it were me, I'd say, can you kind of sit in there every day? But they save her for the last day. And why? Because maybe she just doesn't have the stomach for the details. Maybe she just wants the closing arguments. Don't forget, they're both older people. And she has stood by him for a very long time.
And we do bring up the point, like you said earlier, this is the era of the #MeToo movement, one of the first big criminal cases in this. So
he is you think Weinstein? He's the choir boy for this because he is the first person, I believe, who went to trial with the Me Too movement. I believe that.
How strong does that play in this with the jurors, you think?
I think it's going to be very strong, depending on the age and makeup of the jury, which I think was identical to the first jury.
Yeah, Bill Cosby did not take the stand in his own defense. That's not an admonition of anything, right?
It's rare that it happens. Tom Mesereau, he wouldn't allow it unless he absolutely needed it.
So if you're the prosecution, if you're the defense, the longer the deliberation goes, what does that mean? Long or short?
Well, you know, they say the longer it is, the better it is for the defendant. But in this instance, I can honestly tell you, I think it's not going to be a long deliberation.
It was 52 hours and the last one hung jury. Tell me where you thought the prosecution had to win, then the defense had to win.
Prosecution had to win with those 5 witnesses. Prosecution had to win with the win for both sides would have been that $3.3 million settlement. But somewhere along the way, I heard that there was a $100 million trust fund that an attorney wanted to set up. I mean, these are big numbers. These are astronomical dollars for an incident where they're saying it was a consensual affair. I feel bad for Bill Cosby's wife, but you know what? I don't think she's a stranger to this world he was in.
Well, we will be watching to see how these deliberations go.
Yeah.
Thank you for your perspective.
Thank you very much. Nice being here.
We'll be right back.